Every single day, millions of medical claims are just fired off into the wildly complex web of our healthcare system. But what does the person actually pushing the buttons do all day? Well, welcome to this explainer. We're going to take all those abstract complexities of medical billing and transform them into a clear, step-by-step journey using our source text. I am super thrilled to guide you through part 3 of our revenue cycle management series. Today, we're bringing all that theory we've been talking about right down to earth. We're literally going to look at exactly what a medical biller experiences on a daily basis just to make sure a healthcare provider actually gets paid for their vital work.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Scope of billing services, 2. Creating and submitting claims, 3. Patient database setup, and 4. Ongoing claim efficiency. Let's dive right in.
We're grounding our entire explainer right here in Chapter 1 of our source material. This really lets us mentally step directly into the shoes of a medical billing professional. And the absolute core of this profession? It's translation. A biller is responsible for coding claims to turn physician-performed services into actual tangible income. Honestly, without this daily rhythm, a medical practice simply couldn't survive. It's the financial lifeblood of the whole operation.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Scope of Billing Services. Let's define the boundaries of the job and see the environment a biller truly operates in.
Now, our source text reveals this fascinating fork in the road for how billers actually organize their daily workload. Because, hey, this isn't a one-size-fits-all profession. On one hand, you might find yourself handling full practice accounting. This basically means you're the financial engine for the entire clinic. You're directly invoicing patients, firing off electronic claims, and meticulously chasing down both accounts payable and receivable. It's a massive, comprehensive undertaking. You're touching every single dollar moving in and out of the practice. But alternatively, you might take a strictly specialized route, focusing solely on submitted insurance claims. In this setup, you aren't worrying about the clinic's electric bill or those patient copays at the front desk. Nope, you are a master of the coding and submission process, dealing exclusively with the insurance companies. It really just goes to show how adaptable this profession is to the unique needs of a medical practice, or, how you might even want to structure your own independent billing business.
Let's move on to Section 2, Creating and Submitting Claims. Regardless of the scope you choose, this is the universal core task.
Our text actually emphasizes that creating and sending insurance claims is often the most straightforward work you'll do. Thanks to the sophisticated billing software used across the industry, you're essentially just moving through a highly logical progression of keystrokes. While every program definitely has its own little quirks, the underlying structure, it's identical. You're telling the financial story of a patient's visit. First up, Step 1. You input the date of injury or illness to establish exactly when the event occurred. Step 2, you enter the diagnosis codes. This is absolutely crucial because it tells the insurance company why the patient was seen. Was it a fractured wrist, a persistent migraine? Then, Step 3, you add the procedure codes, detailing exactly what the physician did to treat that diagnosis. And finally, Step 4, you input the physician fees for those specific services. It's this beautifully structured flow of information that takes the chaotic reality of a medical emergency and turns it into a clean, processed claim that's ready for payment.
But hold on. Before those daily claims become that simple, we hit Section 3, Patient Database Setup. This is where the real heavy lifting happens.
When you initially take over a practice, you have to build the entire foundation by loading every single one of the doctor's patients into the software. You aren't just typing, you're acting as a meticulous data auditor. You're verifying patient names and current addresses, tracking down phone numbers and employment status, carefully logging complex policy numbers, detailing the names and relationships of covered family members, and inputting specific personal file or ID numbers. Just think about it. A single typo here, literally one wrong digit in a policy number, can mean a totally rejected claim down the line. It's a massive, time-consuming data entry task requiring incredible attention to detail. It can definitely feel like a grueling process when you're first starting out with a new clinic, but trust me, it's the absolute bedrock of everything that follows.
Which brings us to the payoff in Section 4, Ongoing Claim Efficiency. Let's see how that initial hard work finally transforms your daily routine. Our source beautifully illustrates the reward for all that foundational heavy lifting. It notes that the only information you'll need to fill out is the specifics of the sickness or injury, the diagnostic and treatment codes, and the costs. Well, unless established patients relocate or change jobs or switch insurance companies. Because all those fundamental demographics and insurance details are already locked into your database, returning patient visits become a highly efficient breeze. You are no longer bogged down in the minutia of data entry. Unless someone has a major life change, you aren't retyping their life story.
The software literally does the remembering for you. Your daily workflow drops dramatically in volume and skyrockets in speed. You're now only responsible for updating the unique variables of that specific visit. It totally proves that the hours spent on accurate, upfront database setup are absolutely well worth the effort, turning a mountain of paperwork into a streamlined digital assembly line.
So, here's a question for you. If the most time-consuming part of a biller's job is simply the initial data entry, what other complex healthcare processes could be entirely transformed by just a few hours of proper software setup? It really leaves you wondering about the true power of structured data across the entire revenue cycle. We've seen how transforming a complex patient encounter into specific codes and then into a standardized claim format makes the whole financial engine run smoothly. But the implications, they go far beyond just one biller's desk.
If that initial hurdle of accurate data collection is the key to unlocking long-term efficiency, it really emphasizes just how essential good software habits are to the survival of the entire medical field. Honestly, we can streamline almost anything if we just get the foundation right. Please like, share, and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal.